In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
You're listening to War. We are America Radio. A place where conservatives, libertarians, and Tea Party Americans come together to get the real deal news. No filter and a lot of patriotic spirit. We are America Radio.
You are listening live to the Vito and Vito Show. Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president won't.
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
And we're live here on the Vito and Vito Show. I'm Vito.
And I'm Vito.
And we want to welcome everybody here to the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com, and give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. Vito, I want you to explain to the good people at home just what these people are listening to.
You are listening to Vito and Vito, the two college-age conservative libertarians out of liberal hellhole Brooklyn, New York. Vito, we defend freedom, liberty, individualism. What makes people conservative? We defend it here on the show.
That's true.
That's what we do.
We do a pretty good job at that.
We're not too shabby.
We're not too shabby. Millennial conservative libertarians out of Brooklyn, hellhole, Brooklyn, New York. I just repeated it myself. What the hell am I talking about? It's going to be a great show, Vito. It's going to be an absolutely amazing show because we're going to rip apart Democrats. We're going to rip apart statists.
This is my favorite show. It didn't even start yet, really.
This has got to be the show. I mean, we are going to rip apart that debacle of a socialist debate. Because that's what was going on when the Democrats had the debate a couple of nights ago, earlier in the week. Vito, you had socialism on full display for this country.
There was a meme of Jim Webb, what he was thinking, saying, I wasn't around this many socialists since I was back in Vietnam.
Say what you want about Jim Webb, but I think I could agree with him on a lot of points. I think a lot of conservatives agreed with Jim Webb. He spoke about gun control. Mm-hmm. He spoke about...
well, this is why he has...
I think that was it. I think that's all the sort of smart things Jim Webb said, but...
One thing.
Yeah, but in essence...
With all the conservatives... Base are socialists.
Socialists, practically communists.
I mean, you saw Hillary go to the left.
Hillary go to the left. Hillary go to the left. I seen her run so far to the left, try to get to the left of Bernie Sanders, a Democratic socialist. America, if you're listening, I need you to wake the hell up, because what you witnessed in that Democratic debate was a socialist, proud, proclaimed, happy, exuberant socialist on full display for everyone to see. You saw Bernie Commie Sanders. You saw a damn socialist on an American debate stage. America stands for freedom, liberty, and individualism and free markets, and you had a man that was completely the opposite of what America stands for, trying to win over dumb, idiotic, uninformed Democratic voters.
Well, this was the first time he was really on the main stage, so millions of people saw him. I mean, his Twitter followers went up by hundreds of thousands, the most by any other candidate. I mean, he raised $1 million immediately after the debate. So people saw him and people heard him. He got a bunch of new people to listen to him. But look at his platform. This is not a moderate Democrat. This is reduce income inequality.
Okay, this should be fun.
That's going to be fun.
Oh, Barack Obama wants to do that as well.
Of course, that's a very democratic thing, but how he wants to do it is socialism. We'll get into that. Healthcare for all.
You get healthcare. You get healthcare. You get healthcare. The difference is Oprah could pay for it out of her pockets voluntarily. There was no force. I can't wait to get into this. We're going to rip apart Bernie Sanders' platform, by the way. So 1 is income inequality. 2 is healthcare for all. What's number 3?
Free tuition at public colleges.
Oh, this is great. This is dandy. I can't wait to rip this apart. I cannot wait. Go ahead.
My favorite, require 12 weeks paid family leave, which, according to CBS, could possibly cost $18 trillion.
No, because the first $18 trillion that went around this country wasn't bad enough.
12 weeks pay, that's 3 months. 4, 8, 12, that's 3 months of paid leave. Just like you said in the debate that every other country in the world has.
Yep.
But this will cost us $18 trillion. I think we're in debt by just about the same amount. $18 trillion. Can you believe that? That's how much they say it'll cost.
You know, Bernie is interesting because the man's whole motto is burn, baby, burn, right? You hear that all the time about Bernie Sanders, like that the disco song,
yeah,
burn,
feel
baby,
the burn.
right? Feel the burn.
That's why I like him.
You are going to feel the burn. I'll tell you, if you elect Bernie Sanders, your paycheck will burn up in flames. Your liberty is going to burn right in front of you if you elect that coon. But let's just go ahead and break it down. The Bernie Sanders platform for president. I want to break this down one by one. Now, this is you got from his website, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you got this from his website, and I want to go ahead and just start breaking this down. So the first issue in Bernie Sanders' debacle that was on stage was
reduce income inequality. Because he said, Anderson Cooper asked him to define what is democratic socialism, and he went into the democratic socialists believe that it is immoral that the top 1% have all the wealth in this country.
Why?
Well, I would ask Bernie to define what is morality.
That's a good start. If you read your Ayn Rand, I think you know where we're going with this.
Because he asked him if he's a capitalist. He kind of avoided that question.
He didn't avoid it. I think basically he said, I'm a democratic socialist, and his hair was all fuzzy, and he looked like an old deranged man out of the old age home. But I don't think he avoided it. I think Hillary Clinton avoided the issue and all the other Democrats. But the difference with Bernie, and this is why I got to give him credit, was that he did stand on the stage and he did say, I am a socialist. I'm a democratic socialist. I believe in democracy and socialism and put them together and you make a baby. This is what he thought. Bernie Sanders was thinking this. He believes this and he doesn't waver. He stands tall. So I got to give him credit in terms of being convicted. High five to him on that. Now let's talk about his convictions, and this is the issue that we got to talk about.
Right, because he's not a full socialist. You know, he believes that this should be voted on. But the American people, some people are stupid enough to vote for socialism.
Well, because people, Democrats are another story. But keep this in mind when we're getting into like some serious political philosophy, which is something I've always argued with. Let's get philosophical with the voters. Marx did say, because he gets his theories from Karl Marx here, Mr. Sanders. He did say that it's supposed to be the workers who were supposed to dictate what needs to be done. Remember, the workers are supposed to own the factories. When you read his books, Capital, and you read the Communist Manifesto, Marx is the one who talks about how the workers and the proletariat, the oppressed, the middle class, whatever the hell President Obama tries to spin it now these days, that these are the people that those worker unions have to come together and they're going to run a company. They're going to run these things. And this is in effect what Sanders is trying to get at, but he's trying to basically not just limit it to workers, he's trying to blanket it over the entire country. Now, Marx also wants to do that as well when he tries to talk about the state in the hands of a few at the proletariat level. But the issue still remains with Sanders. He's seeking to go over that on just people like, voluntarily agreeing to have workers run the company. He's trying to jump past that viewpoint, and he's just trying to label it as the whole country's now going to follow in this democratic socialist nonsense, which is ultimately going to destroy this country because it is unsustainable in the long run.
Not just that, but this country has set up the republic to protect the minority.
Absolutely.
So if a good amount or majority votes for socialism, well, they just voted to take away my rights.
Absolutely.
These are natural rights. How can they just be given away because of a majority decided to vote for a socialist?
I mean, it's contrary to the Constitution, socialism, when you talk about...
Absolutely.
It's contrary to the Bill of Rights as well. It talks about how, Bernie Sanders running around talking about free college and reducing the income gap, whatever the hell that's even a problem, but he keeps talking about these things, and he's labeling it as a virtue, how it's a good thing that we need to partake in these issues, and we need to fight them head on. But if you're sitting back and you're listening to this schmuck talk, you're going to say to yourself, Bernie, what are you talking about? What is wrong with the man going out and getting money for his family and producing wealth and accumulating value and accumulating capital so he could save, so his kids can go to college, so he could buy a new car, so we can increase his standard of living, all on his own. There's a reason why our founders went ahead and left tyranny over in Britain. They didn't want to bring it with them to the New World. They sought to establish a nation that was about the defense of individual rights. It was we're all in this together. I'm your best friend, so you could tax me 50%, or I don't even know who the hell you are, but go ahead and tax me anyway. Tax. That's the epitome of Bernie Sanders' platform, and the underlying issue here is greed. That's the real issue.
And if you want to dive into the constitutionality of things like federal healthcare, and the federal government getting involved in tuition, these things. The founding fathers made it clear that if it's not in this Constitution, the federal government has no business in it. But people decided to completely ignore that, and nobody holds these people accountable. So that's when you get Obamacare and all these big, giant agencies from the federal government. Obama wants to free healthcare, free public education now in colleges, and Bernie Sanders wants to continue doing that. Right. But how, aside from the constitutionality, like Margaret Thatcher said, the problem with socialism is that you're going to run out of other people's money.
Exactly.
How in the world are you going to pay for these things? I mean, just one that he mentioned on his platform is a 12-week paid family leave. CBS says it's going to cost $18 trillion. Okay. That might sound familiar because that's what we owe right now. We're in $18 trillion debt and counting.
It sounds familiar. But let's get to this issue about... Let's break it down one by one before we start jumping everywhere. Income inequality on Bernie Sanders' platform, something he was spewing out on the stage. Let's take a look at this. Vito, when you look at Bernie Sanders talking about income inequality and all the other leftists, whether it be Hillary Clinton, whether it would be Martin O'Malley, Barack Obama, or the rest of the leftists, when they talk about income inequality, they're talking about envy. They're talking about how they don't have it or the other guy doesn't have it, and just because that rich businessman has it, well, it's not fair, so he should give up all this money. It's arbitrarily drawn. It's unfair. It's random. It's not coherent. It's not even logical, which is one of the issues with this notion that the rich make too much money. How do they make too much money? And why is that a problem to make too much money?
Bernie Sanders tweeted at somebody. I was looking at his timeline. He said that there's only one billionaire in this presidential race, obviously referring to Donald Trump. But he said it like it's a bad thing.
He's condescending.
Like it's a bad thing that Donald Trump has a lot of money.
Right. And I think what Bernie and the rest of the Marxists and socialists don't really get, it's that at the end of the day, value isn't just something that we say is valuable. I mean, this is the notion that goes back to the Austrian School of Economics, and one of the key components to why I'm more on the libertarian side, because value is subjective. It's up to you. You're not going to pay $1 gazillion for something that you don't think is $1 gazillion valuable to you. You won't pay something that you're not going to come into agreement with the supplier. The only reason why you pay for what you pay for is because you believe it's valuable. And the only reason why you believe it's valuable is because you've come to that conclusion on your own. You're not abstracting labor. You're not saying that the workers deserve all this money. You're not saying that it's a result of tough socialism. No, the truth is, the only reason why things are valuable, the only way wealth is created is by hard work and how a person decides to live their lives. People are guided by action, by human action. We act in a purposeful manner. And the only reason why we do what we do, which is what Bernie and the rest of them don't understand, is to benefit our self-interest, is to grow our lives, is to be strong, independent people. Some people of faith, some atheists, whatever. The point is, people are seeking to live their lives individually without hurting other people. And that's the key component about this stuff. That is the key issue. Especially when it comes down to economics, which Bernie doesn't understand. Now, economics, Vito, is a big part. Is a big part of his platform. Is it not? His whole thing is economics. He's not running on pot. He's not running on foreign policy. He's running on
economics.
He's running on socialism.
He's a socialist. Yeah. And another great point he makes later in the debate, but about criminal justice reform, because he has such a huge youth following with the socialists that criminal justice is a big thing. We spoke about this at Liberty Fest last week, that criminal justice reform is a big thing with the millennials, and Bernie Sanders is hitting on this also, as he mentioned also. But socialism and the economics is his main thing.
It is. That's his main issue here in the campaign. Vito, what is the second issue that Bernie's main platform is? Because I just want to start off with this, or before we get going on the second point, I am holding the position that Bernie Sanders will get the nomination. If you look at the polling data from the Real Clear Politics polls, the average, Hillary Clinton's at 43%. Bernie's at 25%. Bernie is steadily moving up the ladder. The man is giving Hillary a run for her money. Hillary's dropping in support because of Benghazi and the emails and the lack of trust in her. So the Democratic base, being the crazy socialists that they are going to seek to go ahead and elect someone who's radical, different, and much more liberal than Barack Obama. So I'm holding the position that it's going to be Bernie Sanders as the Democratic nominee. That's the position that I'm holding. Or at least he'll be on the ticket. At least he'll be VP. He will be an integral part of the Democratic Party's process going forward from this point out. The man this is Barack Obama. This is a white, old hair Barack Obama. Someone that's ushering in a new left of the Democratic Party, and it's Bernie Sanders. The man is dangerous for the country, and we're breaking it down as to why here on the Vito and Vito show. Vito, what is the second issue of Bernie Sanders' platform?
Healthcare for all.
Again, this issue is another ridiculous point, Vito. It's another ridiculous point. Here's Bernie Sanders yapping out of his gums, talking about how he thinks giving healthcare to everybody is a right. Healthcare is not a right. No one has a right to the services of another person.
Look, Rand Paul jumped into those comments that you cannot force somebody's labor.
Exactly.
Healthcare is not a right. Your rights are in the Constitution. They're written down. You should understand this. Okay? Healthcare has nothing to do with your rights. Okay? It's insurance. It's a business.
It is.
Something that should be handled by the private sector and not the government that also jack up prices. But the federal government has nothing to do with this. And what Bernie Sanders is talking about is social health care. This is not no payer option. It's nothing like Obamacare. This is full-fledged.
Yeah, he wants the government to provide the service or at least pay for it. Which, in effect, how the hell are you going to pay for these programs? You got to tax, print, or steal money away from people. And that's messed up. But let's take a look at Bernie Sanders. Bernie's going to run around say healthcare for all is a beautiful thing. If you think that healthcare for all is a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a step back. I just want you to take a step back. And I want you to tell me, how the hell do you intend on paying for these programs? And then I want you to tell me from the philosophical point of view, is it not slavery when the government conscripts me to do whatever service the government wants me to do, even if I don't want to do it? You know, Ayn Rand, she's great. I love Ayn Rand. Vito, you know how much I love her.
Oh, tell me about it.
You know how much I love Ayn Rand.
How did we get into this?
And Ayn Rand talks about this issue. She wrote an essay, and I wish I could talk a whole show about this. About how the disastrous policies of universal health care. And she talks about how if you're a doctor and the government comes and says, now you work for us, or you have to work with us, the government, in order to do your work as a... Is that not anti-liberty? Is that not anti-freedom? I mean, come on, man.
It's anti-America.
It's anti-America. Take it to the next level. You know, it's not just Medicare this guy wants to expand. He wants to expand Social Security, which is going out the window. It's completely broke. By the time us millennials, Vito, you and I, have to retire, when it cuts to that point where we're going to want to retire, 65, 66, there ain't going to be no Social Security. The Ponzi scheme's going to run out. It's going to be over. It's going to blow up in our faces. So what are we going to do then, Vito?
I'm waiting for us to turn to be like Greece and retire at 49.
I'm telling you, more of these social programs, it's only going to happen.
Like free tuition at public colleges.
Nice segue. That's our third point here.
That's what I do.
That's our third point here. Segue in chief. That's our third point here tonight is of Bernie Sanders' disastrous platform. Free college tuition. And this is how he's going to try to get the millennial vote.
Because higher education is also a right?
This is the same logic applies.
Yeah, because how everybody needs higher education. But it's not a right. Education is not a right, Vito.
No, it's not.
Okay? You're legally allowed to drop out, I know in New York, after sophomore year of high school. Mm-hmm. So I don't see what the government gets involved there. But you think if everybody's so smart, everybody can go to college, and if everybody can get these big degrees, everybody gets these really good jobs, everybody makes a lot of money. But there's only a certain amount of money, only a certain amount of jobs, only a certain amount of people that are made for college.
Again,
because what is higher education at the university level? Okay, we go to college now. I'm learning about Christopher Columbus, man. I should have learned this years ago. Well, I did, but many people in the class should have learned this years ago. This is higher education, to focus in on something specific and master this, called a master's degree, something like that. But the associate's degree...
Is that what they call it?
Yes.
Is that what they call it?
The associate's degree has become little to nothing. Now, years ago, you need a high school degree to get a job. Now you need an associate's. Soon you're going to need a bachelor's to get any kind of job. They're just going to keep going up the list and think these degrees and education becomes disenfranchised because there's so many people going to college.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one of the issues that people have. And because a lot more kids are going to college that are unqualified, you get kids who are...
And that's not an insult.
No, it's not. I mean, college isn't for everybody, and lots of people make money without going to college. I mean, Bill Gates, for example, is an innovator and a revolutionary, and the guy never went to college.
Listen, he dropped out. He dropped out of Harvard, though.
The issue still remains, Vito. There are people that didn't go to Harvard and either dropped out of their regular colleges in the public...
Right, but there should be more trade schools and apprenticeships.
Oh, absolutely.
There's different jobs, not just intellectuals and... there's different things aside from going to college.
Well, the issue also remains they should do that back in high school. We spend a lot of time worrying about college where we have to pay for it through government loans, and we have to inflate the value of these degrees, which is one of the issues with having a lot of these unqualified students go to college. Because the federal government, which Bernie Sanders doesn't seem to get, because the federal government is guaranteeing these loans to students when they go to college, colleges are just like, great, we'll just take more kids in, so more kids apply for loans, so we get more money. And then the kids are stuck with the bill because they owe the government money, which everybody knows the government doesn't get money by itself. It has to tax and take from other people. So what the hell's going on here?
So you have so many students that do not belong in college going. So when colleges like, let's say Harvard, who charges $55,000 for the year, these tuitions keep going up because they're guaranteed money.
Yeah.
So if Harvard decides tomorrow that now its tuition is going to be $70,000, well, the government is still going to guarantee the loans. Yeah, of course, go. Here's the money. And then you're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. You don't have a job. And you're screwed.
Yeah, well, I mean...
And it starts with the root of the government.
That's one issue in terms of how much it's costing us. But then you said how an associate's degree is worth nothing. And a bachelor's degree now is not going to get you anywhere. You need to get your master's or law degree, or even that's not enough. Well, the issue there is credential inflation. Because so many kids are going to school, people are demanding more education. But as kids aren't qualified to go to college, they're not able to handle the workload. They drop out. They're not doing so well. And before you know it, all these kids are graduating, except for a very small few.
Or the workload becomes less.
Yeah, with all these degrees, and employers don't need them, but they're just asking for them anyway. I mean, does a sanitation worker really need an associate's degree? Does a sanitation worker really need 2 years of college? Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's not be stupid. Come on. That's just illogical. I don't see the purpose of that. Does a sanitation worker need to know philosophy?
I think everybody should understand philosophy.
Everybody should understand it. But should they have to, for their job as a sanitation worker, know philosophy? I don't think they're talking about ethics when they're picking up my trash. And it's not an insult. I'm just looking at it in an objective, fact-based way. None of this is supposed to be in mean-spirited or undermining. It's just looking at the facts, baby. How many? Look at the studies. 30%, 20% of our high school seniors are ready for college. And then they get to college and they put in remedial courses which cost them more money. It's not fair, it's messed up, and it's ultimately what Bernie Sanders wants to do just so that he can get the millennial vote. So how does he seek to get votes, Vito? With kids. By charisma? By giving out Bernie Sanders Halloween candy? No, the man is looking to give away free stuff, and he's looking to target women with the paid sick leave. He's looking to target kids with free college. He's looking to target old people with Social Security and Medicare, all at the expense of you, the taxpayer.
Now, the next thing on Bernie's platform got every girl in this my political science class to hate me. 12 weeks paid family leave. Because last year in the class, one of the professors said, was talking about paid leave, and I said I completely do not support it.
Mm-hmm.
Paid leave.
Okay.
He wants 12 weeks paid leave, like he said every other country in the world, that will cost the United States, according to CBS, $18 trillion.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think you agree with this, Vito?
No, I absolutely not. I mean, paid leave, and we're talking about women who give birth, right?
Well, I've seen Democrats in Congress fight for men also, paternity leave.
Great. Paternity leave.
Which,
holy
one of my favorite videos, I don't remember who in Congress, but Republican leaders going to the Democrats like, when's the last time you saw a man give birth? When was the last time? I said, really, these people make decisions for this country.
Yeah, no, it's embarrassing.
Unbelievable.
But let's take a look at that. Let's analyze this for a little bit. Paid leave, we're talking about most of the times mothers giving birth to their children, and then they have to go back to work. And as a result, the government, Bernie Sanders wants the government to pay for their vacation time or to get better. I mean, I'm not going to say it's vacation. They're raising a child, so let's keep that in mind. But the issue still remains. How the hell do you intend to pay for this?
Well, one, how do you intend to pay for it? I don't know much about it, but is 12 weeks fully necessary? 12 weeks to get back to work?
It doesn't matter. I think the issue needs to be handled in the marketplace. 12 weeks might not be necessary. Maybe you need 15. Maybe you need a whole year. It's an arbitrary number set up by the government. So if you start it now, where does it end? I don't understand the arguments that Bernie presents. He again, a socialist has to reject individual rights.
It's immoral.
Well, yeah, it's immoral in his words, but morality is about the individual. You can't have morality without I. Everything starts with you, one person, the individual. Once you start collectively putting us in groups, you miss out on that point.
Well, the business is greedy if they want to not have a woman who just had a child on their staff.
Say it again?
The business is greedy if they don't want the woman on their staff.
Why?
If she just had a child.
If a woman has a child and the business can't have her there, I understand the complexities, but lots of businesses aren't going to fire people because, or at least fire women because they just had a baby. That'd be bad PR. We all know the disastrous toll that it would have on that business in the marketplace by social pressure. So there's that in the way. And number two, because they'd be seen as heartless and greedy. But number two, if you think about it, how do you pay for these paid sick leaves? Do we have not insurance companies that could cover the cost of these things? Is there not another way in the private marketplace that can handle this issue? Was it have to be the government? Bernie never ever looks towards competition and market signals. He doesn't understand economics, which seems to be baffling when this guy is running for president of the United States. It's not just Bernie, but it's Hillary, it's Martin O'Malley, it's the rest of the Democrats up there. And it truly is a shocking, scary
Hillary ran to the left.
Yeah, well, Hillary...
During the debate, the Democratic debate, they're talking about gun control. And they were asking Bernie Sanders if gun manufacturers should be protected by the law for mass shootings and stuff. But he said, it has nothing to do with the manufacturers. And then Hillary goes out and says that Bernie Sanders is not tough enough on guns. And Bernie says, "Hey, the NRA gave me rated me at a D-."
I'm proud of failing.
And the applause he got. Right, the NRA, your Second Amendment right. He's like, no, I want to get rid of that. These people want to destroy and get rid of your Second Amendment right. And how he was trying to defend himself about, I did legislation for this, and I tried, throwing the Second Amendment in the trash, and Bernie Sanders kept saying, I'm from a rural state. People live their guns in Vermont. With his heavy Jewish Brooklyn accent, he was saying how he's from a rural state. But, he does have a point that in the urban cities that they're much more liberal. But, it's your Second Amendment right, no matter how much you don't like it. Listen, Bernie, go try to, get script up an amendment to get rid of it.
One of the main issues when it comes down to guns, and I think Bernie would know this more than anybody, is to rise up against oppression, to rise up against a tyrannical state. That was the original intent of the Second Amendment, so it's not a bizarre notion to put out there. But it still doesn't take away from the point that Bernie Sanders is, in effect, proud of failing in the protection of rights. You're proud of that guy? What a disgrace to Brooklyn, to the country, to New York, to the whole world. You're proud of failing on the defense of other people's rights.
He failed. He got a D-.
It's a failing mark, Vito. You come home with a D- from school. Tell me what happens.
Hey, me and Bernie went to the same college.
Yeah, I know. Brooklyn College in New York. I feel
the renowned.
Yep. It turns out I just happened to get away.
Oh, please, they hate me there.
They don't like you, huh?
Where did we go wrong, Bernie, Barbara Boxer, Reverend Al, Vito?
Listen more here on the Vito and Vito Show. When we return after the break, we're going to talk about the rest of the Democratic field. We're going to go into that a little bit more. We're going to talk about some strategies and who do we think is going to take the cake. I already gave away my answer. I just can't wait to hear what Vito has to say. Plus, when we return, we got an interview with Gary Johnson after our talk at Liberty Fest NYC. Great event. Shout out to those guys over there. It was an awesome event where we have an exclusive interview with possible Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson. How do you like them apples, Ma? Another possible presidential candidate in Gary Johnson, former governor of New Mexico, a great friend of ours, went ahead and scored an interview with him, and he was nice enough to send it down to us. We're going to play that later on this show. Plus, forget about it moments of the week and Twitter fan when we return here to the Vito and Vito Show.
Guess who's number one? Guess who's the number one political talk radio on Live 365? You got it. War. Guess who can't stand it? The liberals. This is War. We are America Radio.
We may be surrounded. We may be outnumbered. We may be outgunned. But we'll never, ever stop the fight. Not while we're behind enemy lines. On We Are America Radio. Wednesday night at 10 p.m. War.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save
your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books PAC.
Are you among the 64% of Americans who believe our country is going in the wrong direction? If yes, then eVoiceAmerica.com is the political take-action site we've all been waiting for. And it's really free. eVoice America provides your personal list of elected reps every time you log on. This makes it so easy to email your opinions and e-votes on top issues directly to each of our D.C. elected representatives. eVoice then publishes our eVote majority percentages on top issues to each member of Congress and the media. Now, for the first time in history, we can know what millions of American citizens are telling Congress. No more gridlock. Join the new American majority using eVoiceAmerica.com, putting Americans in control of Congress. Visit eVoiceAmerica.com today. It's free and easy to use. That's eVoiceAmerica.com.
You are listening to War Radio. This is where we assassinate liberal lies with documented facts and obliterate moderate Republicans who want to join their side. We are America Radio.
Back here on the Vito and Vito Show. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, on social media at Vito and Vito Show. And check it. I'm okay.
Okay.
And check out our website, www.vitoandvito.com. You right there, Vito?
Yeah, I think I'm okay. You stumbled there, my friend. My God. Vito and Vito back here from the break talking about the Democratic debate. Let's break this down, Vito. Let's break this down in terms of what we saw. What'd you think of Hillary Clinton? Because I think Hill Dog won the debate.
Hill Dog?
Hill Dog. She's a dog. I call her Hill Dog.
I can't stand her.
I call her a dog.
I can't stand her.
She eats her own crap. Hill Dog. She craps out lies and she eats it. She revels in it.
Unbelievable.
What'd you think? You think she won? Because I thought she did great.
I think she did, but only because she went further to the left than Bernie Sanders. But I think Bernie won.
Really?
I think he got so much momentum. I think this helped so much in his campaign. He raised over $1 million as soon as the debate ended. He gained so much support. You saw people. I mean, he promoted the debate with hashtag debate with Bernie.
Yeah.
He promoted that. He paid for that on Twitter and got so many people, the youth. And he even said that this is how his campaign's going because Anderson Cooper asked him, how the hell can a socialist win? He said, well, we are going to win. And he said, because he has the youth and the grassroots support, which he does. And that has been growing, especially after this debate.
All because he's giving away free stuff. I think Bernie did real well in this debate as well. I thought that Bernie, when he walked up on that stage, and he gave his nonsense spiel about he should be president of the United States and why he should be president of the United States. I think he really gave a good account and a good defense as to why he should be, at least to the Democratic voters. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, I think that she came across solid. She didn't stumble. She didn't have a gaffe.
She's been doing this since she was like 7.
She was articulate, and she got her point across. So Hillary won. I think Bernie did well. I think Hillary, though, is the winner.
So you saying you
because
didn't
she had
like
no
Lincoln?
problem. Huh?
You didn't like Lincoln Chafee?
Oh, Lincoln Chafee. Who?
Chafee.
Who's Lincoln Chafee?
Martin O'Malley?
Don't remember him.
Martin
O'Malley. Mr. Tax
and Jim Webb. That's who on the
We'll
stage.
get to Jim Webb in a second. He's going to be fun. But Martin O'Malley surprised me. I think he came off a little too stiff, but he still came off, in my opinion, as the biggest surprise of the night. Bernie wasn't the surprise. Hillary Clinton wasn't the surprise. Chafee, I didn't know he was there. Webb, I felt bad. No one gave him time. He was like a lost puppy.
You saw the time for speaking. It was like Bernie with I think 40, Hillary 38, and then Lincoln at 9.
That's awful.
It's like, oh my goodness.
But I think Martin O'Malley did great. Honestly, I think Martin O'Malley came off powerful. I think he came off coherent. I think he knew you could relate to him. And he seems sincere. Now, I don't know how sincere any of these people really are, but I will give Martin O'Malley credit where credit is due. I thought he did real well. The question is this going to reflect in the polls? And, the new polls haven't come out yet, but when we take a look at the polls of in the past, Martin O'Malley has been struggling bad. He's trying to get over a couple of percentage points, and it's been hurting him. He's been at the surface level. But we'll see. We'll
The
see how it
Mendoza
goes.
line.
The Mendoza line. We will see how it goes.
But you heard what Bernie flipped.
What'd he say?
Yeah, he's a Brooklyn temper going. He said, I think with the American people, they're sick and tired of hearing about the damn emails.
I'm not sick and tired of hearing about the damn emails. I want to know what's on those damn emails, Bernie. I'm sick and tired of hearing you spiel all the day and talking about how you're going to give away free stuff, not knowing economics.
I mean, they asked Hillary about the emails, of course. And she said that she's taking full responsibility and she has been as transparent as possible.
Yeah, all right, okay.
She said, I gave over 50-something thousand emails. And then, of course, she turned over to McCarthy's statement saying that the Benghazi committee is only, like, out to get me.
Jesus.
So, like, the Republicans say it themselves. Like, listen to me, McCarthy's not a Republican.
Good argument. I like that. Reject that premise.
Reject the premise. He's not a Republican. He's one of you. Okay? He's established me as a Democrat.
You know who's not who's not in the group? I think Jim Webb, as we wrap up our debate talk here with the Democrats, I think Jim Webb, poor guy, Jim Webb is an old school Democrat. He is your old left. He is your JFK Democrat. Mm-hmm. He's a Democrat that you could probably have a beer with. He's not your new crazy socialist Democrat that'll make you pay for that beer, but he seems like the type of Democrat that you could actually hang out with him and you disagree on some issues. But he still understands that America is America. Plus, he was in the military. And I think he genuinely does love America. I just think he's misguided. But poor Jim Webb, I felt bad. You could even put Jeb Bush on that stage next to Mr. Webb. Put Jeb and Webb. Put them together.
And Lindsay.
Put Christie on that stage. And I'm telling you, you probably have more Democrats on the Republican stage than you do have Republicans on the Republican stage. Listen, I love this talk about the debates. Let's go down the list, Vito, give report cards, and move on to our great Governor Gary Johnson interview in just a little bit. Starting off, Hillary Clinton, what do you give her?
A-.
I give Hill Dog an A. I will give her an A. I thought she did great. Now that I agree with her, just in terms of persona, rhetoric, I think she did real well. I think she was very persuasive, and the left is going to eat her up. Number 2, Bernie Sanders.
A+.
A+. Yep. I give Bernie an A-.
Great.
Thought he did great, but I thought he shot himself in the foot when he defended Hillary with those comments, those Benghazi comments. And the gun control issue is going to come back and bite him in the butt. I'm telling you now. Number 3.
Martin O'Malley.
I give Martin O'Malley an A. I'll give him an A. An A-. I'll give him an A-. He could have been a little more loose. He could have been a little more fun, but I'll give hhim in the A range. I think he definitely deserves it. He did real well in terms of coming off as a persuasive fool.
Great. B+.
B+.
Yeah, we'll go with Jim Webb. What do you think about Jim Webb?
I give him a D. No one heard about him, and I think he was just not pandering, but I thought he was just getting annoyed at that point. Ooh, I want to talk. Would
you blame him?
Sit down, Jeb. Be gone. Sit down. Do I blame him? No, I get the issue, but now Jim Webb, I give him a D. And what's the last one? Lincoln Chafee? I give him an F. I didn't know he was up there. Once a Republican, then an independent, then back to a Democrat, then a Republican. He's all over the place. I give him an F just for being up there.
He annoys me. This is how he looks.
Just how he looks.
Yeah. Then Hillary, oh my God.
I don't care what you say, but Hillary Clinton is hot. I'm making that position.
I put out a tweet the other day. It was no broad day during the day of the debate. Okay. I said, do you think Anderson Cooper is going to ask Hillary if she's celebrating no broad day?
I sure do hope.
And I almost broke my phone. I visualized that as I sent the tweet. And I feel so bad for our thousands of followers who saw that.
Oh, those poor people.
I ruined their day.
Oh, that's awful.
I'm sorry.
I still like her.
Whatever, man.
She's got spunk.
All right, whatever floats your boat, right?
Whatever floats my boat. And Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, Vito, and Hillary Clinton walk into a bar. Then they all walk out together. All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to love this. Vito and Vito spoke at Liberty Fest. What's wrong with me? We spoke at Liberty Fest NYC with a bunch of libertarian people. They were pretty cool. I like them. A couple of anarcho-capitalists as well. I was pretty shocked.
I like them.
They were all right.
Yeah.
They were pretty cool. But this was a pretty cool event. We were able to hear from a bunch of different speakers. There was even some lady who was teaching meditation on the stage. So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
That's how we got ready for the speech backstage.
Yep, we chant. Anyway, it was such a great event. We caught up with a bunch of friends of ours there as well. And you're going to love this, ladies and gentlemen. A special contributor of ours, Julio Rivera, from Conservarican.com. It's a blog, new conservative blog. It's doing real well. Great site. And he was able to nab an interview with Gary Johnson, former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson. Julio Rivera, contributor to Vito and Vito, Now he's a contributor. Was able to score this exclusive interview with Gary Johnson. Now, today he also put out something on his Tumblr page about him running for president. So we're going to talk about that because he is a possible contender. Do you think Gary Johnson should be running for president of the United States? Take a look at this quick but insightful interview into Gary Johnson here on the Vito and Vito.
First of all, Mr. Johnson, I'd like to ask you, if you do run, which you plan on announcing, what do you think are the most important issues that you would run on, or the platform that you will be running on?
Well, I think the biggest issue facing the country is the $19 trillion debt. I mean, I think that's the biggest threat to our way of life, and so I think the big issues are balancing the federal budget, which is something that I support. And balancing the federal budget means cutting spending by 20%, and to do that, you've got to reform the entitlements, and that's Medicaid and Medicare, and that also includes military spending. Recognizing that there is a real terrorist threat out there, how do you deal with that? I'm going to say let's deal with that with our brains and not with lobbing bombs and putting troops on the ground.
All right, well, let me ask you a question. Do you think that radical Islamic terrorism could be beaten through diplomacy?
Not necessarily diplomacy, but all efforts to cut funding off and to contain it in the Middle East.
Okay, and final question. If you were the president with the issues that we have with unfunded liabilities, how would you try to influence the House towards curbing some of the spending that they've already committed towards?
Well, you know that the Congress has not submitted a budget in over 10 years. And so they've got to take it on. It would be wonderful to have a process where we could see an analysis of everything that we're spending money on. Maybe we spend more money in some areas, but let's cut money in others. And overall, a 20% reduction to balance the federal budget. I do believe that there is a monetary collapse in our future, and when that happens, of course, I'm not in that business, but the fighting chance we have is to balance the federal budget.
And that was former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson, possibly running for president of the United States. I don't know. For president of the United States. It's a tough issue. It's a damn tough issue because you got all these great conservative, like libertarian candidates. You got Ted Cruz and Rand Paul. But what do you think?
Hey, why not? Everybody else running. Let's see what he has to say. You got the establishment Democrats, you got the conservative, libertarian one, Rand Paul.
And a lot of libertarians are dissatisfied with him. But here's the issue.
Yeah, so you got Gary Johnson in there. Why not?
Yeah, here's the issue with Gary. I mean, he brings up these two quotes. I just want to hit on them real quick. He says, Congress hasn't approved the budget in 10 years. And they haven't. They really are awful at what they do. Gary Johnson did a pretty good job in New Mexico. Look into his record. The man cut spending by over 40%. He's done a real good job in reducing the size of government over in New Mexico. So here's a guy that's been actually following through on what he said he's going to follow through on. So Gary Johnson is up there in my book in terms of viable candidates. And then he goes on to talk about how a monetary collapse is in our future. That's a good point. We got a monetary collapse coming very shortly. And here's a candidate that wants to talk about it, or a potential candidate. Anyway, Gary Johnson interview was a lot of fun. I just wanted the people to hear what a possible next candidate might be. And like I said, govgaryjohnson.tumblr.com. That's his Tumblr page. And if you look at the last line, he says, maybe, just maybe, America is ready. And maybe that's why I would want to run for president. Who knows? If Gary Johnson runs, that might get enough people. That might be another viable alternative. If the Republicans elect an establishment candidate or a candidate that the conservatives don't like, this guy might be another option. Who knows? Gary Johnson's up there. I certainly really like him. We'll see where it goes. More to come in the future. But right now, it's that time of the week again. It's Forget About It Moments of the Week.
Wow. Forget about it? Forget about it. Forget about it.
Yes, Forget About It Moments of the Week is the time here on the Vito and Vito Show where we break down some of the craziest moments that we've read in the news. Vito, Like they say in Brooklyn, when you see something you cannot believe,
forget about it.
What's the first one?
Well, we got a couple today.
All
There's
right.
just so many good ones I couldn't choose. So I just picked them all.
So let's go down a quick list.
Listen.
A show of lists, we're going to call this. Go ahead.
Great. A New York Times reporter tweeted at Jeb Bush, F you.
Love it.
Yep, the full
Love
thing.
it. Forget about it, Jeb. I love it. I should write that to him.
Don't.
Okay. Let's go.
This is why you don't control the social media account.
To the next Forget About It moment of the week.
In Cambridge, Massachusetts, a man dressed as a priest broke into a church and decided to masturbate at the altar.
Yeah. Well, it's not the first time somebody's done that. No?
What are you trying to imply?
Huh?
What are you saying?
You mean that's not what you do on Sunday masses? No?
Sick. I know you're an atheist, but come on.
It's for the world. It's for everybody. That's
Great.
sick.
The blood
man.
of Jesus, Vito, is what they give out.
That's sick. You mean somebody jumped into... So they disguised themselves. They broke into a church, and that's what they did?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Tell me about this.
That
Forget about it.
So forget about it. I hope that guy goes to jail. It's a violation of property, and that's
Or hell.
possibly sick.
He's going to hell.
An eternity in hell.
Speaking on the religious note, Daily Mail, there was an exorcism in Romania at the relic of Saint Paraskiva.
Okay.
And the family brought the lady and made her touch the relic, and she started going, she started convulsing and screaming. It was like sick video. Everybody ran away, like she was possessed by the devil. And it was like, it just reminded me of the movie, The Exorcism.
Oh, it's a scary movie.
I thought it was a funny movie.
Why? How'd you think it was funny?
Oh, come on.
Come on, what? This woman is possessed and she's throwing up everywhere, and the priest, spoiler alert, dies. I mean...
I guess it's more the graphics from the 70s.
Oh, yeah, that's what you like.
Like she jumped up and down.
My favorite part is when she runs... Okay, if you want to talk about a funny part of that movie, I like when she has to like walk down the stairs backwards. That's hysterical. It's like, Mom, something's wrong.
The power of Christ compels you. I quote that a lot.
That's what wakes me up in the morning. Go ahead, Vito. What's our next Forget About It moment?
Good news, Vito. Scientists find that men are programmed, this is natural, that when girls are around, to seek sex over food.
Nice! We're in!
Woo! Woo!
That's all we have to do. Just go stand around women, and they're going to crave us. I told you, Vito. Women crave us.
You completely misinterpreted this.
Women crave us like I crave White Castle. Tweet that out. Next Forget About It moment.
According to Judicial Review, February and March golf vacations for President Obama on travel alone spent over $4.5 million.
Wow. Where did he go?
He went to Palm Springs,
Okay.
Palm City, and Chicago.
Unbelievable. $4.5 million.
Listen, I wanted to go to California to Palm Springs. It's about to be $300 round trip ticket.
President Barack Obama is spending $4.5 million
of your money.
That's ridiculous.
On travel alone, God knows where he ate, the golf, what he did with Michelle.
Wow, come on.
I don't know what he spent money on.
Oh, someone's got to pay for the...
Yeah, well, not him. So he's like, yeah, screw it, I'm almost done.
We're subsidizing President Obama's sexual trips.
Escapades.
What's that next Forget About It
Speaking
moment?
about sexual escapades.
We're on a sexual roll here tonight.
Oh, it's great. San Jose, at a Target, porn played over the intercom to all the shoppers.
Really?
Yes.
Score.
Twice. They came on and apologized, and then a minute later it came back on. Like hardcore. graphic.
Hardcore?
Yeah.
All right, now you're just getting into it.
What? I'm just saying, this one kid recorded it. He's like, I felt violated.
Wait, it came on over the loudspeaker?
Over
or
the
it came
loudspeaker.
on,
Everybody heard it. You're shopping.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? Like their families, they were children. It's like, this reminds me of like PBS when they were playing Sesame Street to porn.
What?
Yeah, this happened a couple years ago. I remember this.
Oh, yes,
Remember
I
this?
remember this. Yes, I do.
Just cut to porn.
Yes. Disgusting. Well, I wish you didn't say that. Freedom, baby. Freedom for everybody.
I mean,
what do you don't think that's a problem?
What?
Porn
listening to porn while you shop? That's how I shop. I'm in and out.
Something's on that. Yeah, good. Nice pun. Something's on that iPod. What's that last Forget About It moment? Wrap this up.
That wasn't. That was.
That was it?
I think we can sit here and talk about porn at Target for a little bit.
Oh, listen, as much as I would want to do that, I just want to go ahead and say we got some crazy things in the world.
What can you possibly say after that? Forget about it.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I certainly will say this. We got to give a shout out to a certain friend of ours. He was able to score us this interview with Gary Johnson. Julio Rivera at conservarican.com. And we want to give him the Twitter Fan of the Week. Twitter Fan of the Week to Julio Rivera. Vito, what is his name? At Conservarican on Twitter. So go ahead and give him a follow. He's great. Check out conservarican.com. Vito doesn't know his Twitter name. I'm calling him out right here. Yes, he is.
You're calling me out?
Oh, yeah, I'm
you
calling
want to do
out.
this on radio?
No, I don't. Listen, Vito, what's your final thoughts? Wrap this up. What did you think of the Democratic debate? Governor Gary Johnson possibly announcing that he wants to run for President of the United States? I mean, what do you make of all this? And President Obama spending $4.5 million of our taxpayer money so we could fly around the world.
Exorcisms and porn at Target. It's been a crazy week. Gary Johnson should run for president. Let's get some more people in there after everyone drops out. Let's see a libertarian mind. Democrat debate. I can't wait for the next one. It's a joke. Okay? It's like Saturday Night Live.
Well, what do you think of the Republican debate? It's coming up in a couple of weeks.
Ooh. You mean the Democrat debate with two conservatives?
Oh, good one. I like that.
And
Donald Trump. I would like to. And he's a class of his own. But
he live tweeted the debate.
Donald Trump is hilarious. And his live tweeting is just too funny. I mean, speaking of Donald Trump, him and Ben Carson might be boycotting the next debate. They said if there is no opening and closing statements and they don't shorten that debate to 120 minutes, they're not doing it. And frankly, I don't blame them. The Democratic debate alone was 2 hours, and I was still getting nosy and tired at the end of it. And the Republican debate last time went on for 3 hours. So just imagine this. I mean, these guys, I agree with them. It's too long, man. Nobody wants to sit around the TV and watch people blabber.
But Ben Carson suspended his campaign this week to go on a book signing tour.
Oh, man.
So who knows what he's doing? Donald Trump, he's got all the time and money in the world.
What are you doing, Ben? This is one of my problems with Ben Carson is sometimes he just seems to be so misguided. What the hell are you doing, pal?
I mean, was he not in New Hampshire, I believe, in the very beginning?
Yeah.
When Run Ben Run was still trying to get him to run. Yeah, he missed. Who knows what he's doing? He's doing good in the polls. I think it was at 23. Fox said right behind.
Yeah, but
Donald Trump by a point.
Do you think this would be an issue? You think it's going to hurt him in the polls?
Well, if people don't see him around,
I think that'll become the problem. I think if people begin to
I'm sure
see
he'll
him
be back.
fade off.
I'm sure he'll come back and do his thing.
I don't know. If once people run away like that, we got a problem.
Unless somebody picks him up for his VP candidate, and
I think again, Ben Carson should be the Republican VP. I think I love him to in that position. I think he comes off, like I said, as a stark contrast as someone who's got to be bold, forward, loud, abrasive, and not afraid to speak the truth. A Cruz, a Paul, in some
Vito
people's view. A Trump or a Vito. All right, Vito, listen, my final thoughts in the Democratic debate. Listen, when you break it down, ladies and gentlemen, all you saw on that stage was a socialist orgy. Yeah, you heard me. Socialist orgy. Nothing but communists sitting up on that stage blabbering about how America needs to be like more European. We need more Europe in America. We need to become more socialistic. We need to care about the middle class. That's all I heard from these Democrats up on that stage. And it was led not by Hillary Clinton, although I think she did a very good job in persuading idiots to vote for her. But it was led by a socialist in Bernie Sanders. I'm telling you now, that man's going to get the Democratic nomination, and America's going down the toilet if he does. It would be the worst thing in this country's history. Yeah, the worst thing in this country's history to have Bernie Sanders elected as president. You don't think it'll happen? Look at the Democratic Party. They went crazy for him. The man is a revolutionary, and I'm telling you now, Bernie Sanders can win the Democratic nomination. Don't know if he'll win the general, but he might win the Democratic nomination because Barack Obama has ushered in the new left, a socialist, proud, crazy, liberal, super liberal Democratic Party. Governor Gary Johnson, oh man, if he runs for president, that guy's going to be a great contrast and maybe might shake things up on the Republican side. If Republicans elect the Rhino, Gary Johnson might be that viable candidate if and when he chooses to jump in the race. We want to give a shout-out again to Julio Rivera, conservarican.com. The guy's a superstar. We love him to death, and we appreciate him for that interview. Go ahead, follow Vito and Vito, at Vito and Vito Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go ahead and check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Stay around because coming up next on We Are America Radio,
The Ninja,
The Wayne Dupree Show. It's going to be great. He's got a great show lined up. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm sticking around because I want to hear just what the News Ninja has to say himself.
Well, it's only 3 minutes away, so.
That's right. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next here on We Are America Radio, once again, The Wayne Dupree Show. Vito and Vito signing off, Vito, in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the...
the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.